What have been the greatest challenges the Academic Affairs Vice President's Office has faced in recent years, and what would you do to overcome those challenges?
Hi everyone, again, my name is Natalie Gavello, and I'm running to be your next Academic Affairs Vice President with Student Action. I believe that one of the most recent problems in the Academic Affairs Office has been setting appointments for academic senate committees. It's definitely been a problem because there is no streamlined process set for these committees, and it oftentimes takes weeks in the beginning of the fall semester before we get student representation. What I'm going to do as AAVP is streamline the process and standardize it into the ASUC bylaws so that we start getting representation at the beginning of the semester. I'm going to do this by setting the appointments in the spring of the AAVP's term, making sure that we have these students represented at the beginning of the fall, hold an orientation with the Academic Senate Chair, and make sure that we get representation and get it right away. Thank you very much.
I'm Frank Luna again from SDU. While I agree that one of the issues for the AAVP office is appointments on committees within the Academic Senate and whatnot, I disagree that the problem is streamlining, because I don't think that it should be the responsibility of a single representative who receives only a fraction of votes from the student body to actually appoint people to positions. That's undemocratic. I think that these shouldn't be appointments. I think that representatives, if they're sent to the Academic Senate, they should be democratically elected by the student body. The entire idea of a student appointment is undemocratic. And if someone thinks that it is, then I'd question their definition of a democratic, and I'd question their definition of representative. That's all I have to say on that.
The largest problem facing this university today, and this particular office, is that Biff has been able to come back in time with an almanac from the future. With these, we can create enough money to turn the university into a massive casino. You see, time. Here is the point we are here. Here's the point for which I have come back to say all of you. By electing me, we will divert into an alternate timeline where the university is a casino and all of you being out with your moms when you were teenagers.
What have been the greatest challenges the Academic Affairs Vice President's Office has faced in recent years, and what would you do to overcome those challenges?
Hi everyone, my name is Naomi yet again. I'm running to be your next Academic Affairs Vice President. So the main issues that I see in the past recent years is transparency, visibility, academic senate, and the Academic Affairs Vice President grant system. If you look at the past year, if you look at what have we seen in our office, we have not seen an Academic Affairs Vice President that visible on our campus. We need to make sure for academic senate that makes decisions on course curriculum, pass no pass deadlines, academic policies, admissions policies, they need to have student input. We need to make sure that student representation is a must. It is not, if I cannot see the vote, I will have the voice. You need to make sure that student representatives are on these committees to make these decisions. And although it may seem undemocratic, that's where you bring in students across the campus by having forums and town halls and engaging the students on the campus. You do not make decisions by yourself, and I will not do that as an Academic Affairs Vice President. With the grant system, when the AAVP operates over $28,000 of money, directors need to be at the meetings. Directors need to be held accountable. You cannot operate all this money and not allocate it to the student organizations and the individual students that need that money on this campus. It is a shame that AAVP has not operated in this fashion. I will not do that as your next Academic Affairs Vice President. Hold me accountable, I'll hold you accountable, we'll work together, so vote for me.
Would you like
that it should be brought to an election for students actually decide. And Naomi said it should be brought to town hall. So, I mean, I don't know if we're splitting hairs or if it's worth pointing out that elections are more democratic than town halls are. I'm Frank, running with SQ.
For the second question, the order of candidates one is Naomi will go first, followed by Frank, then Natalie, and then Woodrow. Second question. What do you think of current student representation in the academic senate, and what criteria would you use to choose individuals for those appointments? What do you think of current student representation in the academic senate, and what criteria would you use to choose individuals for appointment to the academic senate? Or student representation.
Okay. So one of my platforms is actually opening up the academic senate, increasing student representation, and making sure that we hold the academic senate accountable to our needs. Especially when now that we pay more for our tuition than the state does, it is vital that we make sure that we hold the academic senate accountable, and that when they make decisions, that they can validate that with student input. As I said before, if I cannot get a student vote, I'm not going to say that I can get you something that I simply cannot. But I have recently, as being the co-chair of the Black Student Union, worked with the chancellor, talked to him about the academic senate, Bob Jacobson, talked to people within my community who's met with the academic senate chair and talked about how we can increase student representation on this campus. I've already started doing the work. I don't need a position to tell me when I should start. So that's exactly where I'm going with my position. I'm going to start before I even get into office. And when I get into office, it'll be implementation. The groundwork will already be there. For student representation to be diverse, that's not just socioeconomic status, ethnic backgrounds. That's making sure you're out on Sprout. That when you have executive, you know who you're looking to, who's supposed to be your voice on this campus. We need to make sure that we engage students. I need to be out there, people who are representing my office and engaging, figuring out what they want from the AAVP office, what they want from the exec offices. We need to make sure that we all hold each other accountable, because in this day and age, we can no longer sit back and let people speak for us. We can no longer let these budget cuts keep people affecting us and sitting back. We need to stand up. And AAVP with Academic Senate is one of those ways. Thank you.
The last question, it was about appointing, and I'm opposed to appointing students to these positions. As I said, I think these positions should be elected by the greatest student body. And I guess it speaks to the point, I guess Naomi will be able to rebut this. But yeah, we shouldn't let people speak for ourselves. And appointing students, the AAVP appointing students is the AAVP speaking for the rest of the student body. And yeah, Bob Jacobson, the chair of the Academic Senate, he's a great guy, and name drop. But I would hesitate to be confrontational towards the Academic Senate, because I know people like Chairman Jacobson are very much in favor of transparency, and maybe they're not the let's just say, I don't think the Academic Senate is any type of necessary evil. I think that they're not an ally. Don't appoint students. SDU.
Great. When it comes to increasing the amount of representation in the Academic Senate, I believe that the first thing I said, I really do agree with. I believe we do need to streamline the process so that we can get representation and get it soon, especially in regards to 2012 admissions policy. We can't change the past, but when it does come to things such as making sure we have representation in the future academic policies, we can start getting them by getting student representatives. All right, one thing that we should do is also hold open forums. I believe that the students that do choose to involve themselves in these academic senates are willing, are part of different communities here on campus, are diverse, and are also willing to listen to other students' problems with academic senates. These open forums, I believe, would would be a great way to really get all students' voices heard. In addition, these representatives should be able to work with ASUC senators. I want to pair academic policy with student policy here on this campus. I think it's something that's never been done before, and it'd be great to be able to really represent all these communities when it comes to things like libraries, admissions policies, research policy on this campus. Academic Senate does so much, and I think we should really make use of that. Thank you.
I've grown a little scatterbrained in my old age.
What do you think of current student representation in the academic senate, and what criteria would you use to choose individuals for appointment?
Oh, what do I think about it? What do I think about it? I would love to tell you every little last thing I think about it, but the repercussions of such a thing could be catastrophic. The very fact that I'm back here talking to all of you in this past time could change space-time as we know it in ways that we could never fully comprehend. If I were to actually tell you my opinions, we could see some serious shit.
Alright, so to address Franklin's point, I want to first off say that it's a very, very clear contradiction when Students for Democratic University is fighting for increasing underrepresentation, minority students on this campus, underrepresented students on this campus to increase their enrollment. That's one of your platforms. The Academic Senate deals with admissions policies. If you do not get in that space and talk about how low our numbers are on this campus, then how do you expect any change? You have to talk to the people who are supposed to be running the show and letting them know that we pay to go here, we deserve to go here. We need to make sure that we have to hold them accountable. We have to be in that space. If we're not in that space letting them know the student input, then they're just going to keep on making decisions that drastically affect us in a negative way. And I will not accept that